Hey guys, this is Jake with Steely Bros. Just wanted to answer a couple of your guys' rigging questions for Steelhead. There's a whole bunch of techniques you can do. These are just a couple that I'm going to go over, kind of the bread and butter ones that most people use. I've colored my lines. I got a black one and a red one. I don't know how well they're going to show up, but this black one right here, this would be your tapered leader. I finished mine with a loop knot connected to a barrel swivel. In this case I'm using a very large barrel swivel just so you guys can see it a little bit better. You can get super tiny ones. That's what I usually use. You connect it onto there, and then from there you have your tippet material. I'm using a 10-pound test tippet. That's what I usually use for steelhead season. And then again you do a loop knot and you connect it to the barrel swivel. This first technique, when you tie your loop knot, you leave a long tag end. On this tag end is where you'd place your split shots. Depending on how fast the water's moving, where you're fishing, stuff like that, depends on how many split shots you would use. So you kind of hook your split shots all the way down that. The benefit to doing this is if your split shots ever get snagged up on something, they just kind of slide off and then you don't lose all your rigging. That's pretty beneficial. That's one way to do it. Kind of, saves your line if you ever get caught. The other way, you can just eliminate this tag end altogether. When you guys are out fishing, take a pair of clippers with you. Toenail clippers, fingernail clippers, whatever. Don't be using your teeth. You're just going to crack your teeth. And Steely Bros loves to see your beautiful smiles. We don't want to see all these chipped teeth from biting your line. Another way to do it, you can just place the split shots right on the line like that. I kind of place mine higher up towards the loop knot, and that way the line below it can flow freely in the current. So that's the easy way to set up. Now when it comes to flies and what you want to set up, there's a couple different things you can do. The first method I like to do, this is kind of what I use as my bread and butter a lot of the time. Use little trout beads like this. You can get bagfuls from Walmart, wherever. You put it on, and then you re-thread it twice through. Now of course when you're fishing you'd be using a lot longer tippet material, depending on where you're fishing, how you're fishing. You can use anywhere from 4 to 6 feet if you want. So you loop it through twice like that. And then you tie on whatever fly you want. So this kind of leads your fly, gives something for the fish to look at, and then they'll go after whatever else. Right here I have one of Steely Bros' pink egg patterns. They work awesome. Bunch of movement, bunch of sparkle. Really catches the Steely's attention. You tie this on with a cinch knot. Twist it around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring it back through the loop at the bottom. Cinch it. Gotta wet your tippet just so you don't burn it up at all. And then your setup looks like that. You open up the loops on your trout bead just a little bit. And you run your fly through the loops that you opened up. And cinch it down. This keeps your trout bead from sliding up and down, keeps it at the distance you like it. You can vary the distance This one's probably 8 inches or so. You can change it, you can shorten it, make it a little closer to the fly, but that's one of the setups. So you have your tapered leader to barrel swivel, your split shots, you can add as many as you want depending on how fast the current's going, and then you have your trout bead leading your Steely Bros egg pattern fly. That's one of the easier setups. Catch a lot of fish doing it this way. They like it a lot. Another setup you can do, you can leave the trout bead there. This is also nice depending on where you're fishing. Certain regulations say you can only have 1 hook, 2 hooks, whatever. So a trout bead kind of eliminates the need for a second fly tied on. This helps, just gives them something extra to look at, and that way you're not breaking any regulations that way. Another technique you can do, you get a second piece of tippet material. Again, cut it with your clippers. Don't be biting it because you will chip your teeth. Then you tie that second piece of tippet material onto the bend of the hook of the fly you already have tied on. Again, using a cinch knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring it back through the loop that you tied. Make sure it's snug all the way down. You trim your tag end off. So then you have your fly tied on right here, and then you'd have your extra tippet material here, and then you could trail another fly off the end of it. Here I have one of the Steely Bros bead head crystal buggers, another nice flashy fly. Trout love them, bass love them, panfish, everything eats these guys. And then you can tie that on. And you can vary the length depending on how deep you're fishing, whatever. So, cinch that on again. Bring it down. Wet your tippet. Make sure your knots are all done. So then you'd have your egg pattern here, tailed by a streamer pattern down here. That's the Steely Bros crystal bugger. I probably wouldn't use this much tippet material. I'd probably shorten it up and probably only trail the streamer about there. This is just for demonstration purposes. Trout beads, you can just, you can always just throw on a trout bead. Never hurts to throw on something extra for the fish to chase. You don't have to do an egg pattern, you can do streamer patterns. Let's see here. We got one of Steely Bros popsicle marabou streamers here. You can always tie one of these bad boys on. You can leave the trout bead there, it's not going to hurt anybody being there. Again, you just put it through, do your cinch knot, cinch it down, and there you go. So once again, you'd have your tapered leader, barrel swivel. I'm using 10-pound test in this. That's what I usually use for steelhead. Your split shots, 2, 3, 4, depends on how heavy you want to fish it. That gets it down to the bottom. And then you got your trout bead, and then whatever you want to trail it. This is what I usually use for steelhead fishing. It works great. Catch a lot of steelies doing that. Super simple. You can do the tag end technique with the split